As Ben said, I'm from Lafayette, but I originally was born and raised in a small town near Lafayette. In 1979, I was 14 years old, and I found myself in an unplanned pregnancy. I was born and raised in church. I came from a very strong pro-life family. When that unplanned pregnancy hit our family, we didn't know what to do. And my friends told me, just have an abortion. It's a simple procedure, in and out, and you're fine, and nobody will ever know you're pregnant. Sounded really good to me, and it was legal. And there was no information out there about it. All I knew was that if it's legal, then it must be safe. So I came to Baton Rouge, and I had my abortion at Delta Women's Clinic at 14 years old. And as I was laying on that table crying because of the pain and knowing in my heart that what I was doing was wrong, the doctor told the nurse to tell me to be quiet. And if I was woman enough to have sex, I'm woman enough to stand that. So we followed through with the abortion, and I left there. And I left my aborted baby in that clinic, which is now shut down, and I walked through it in March 25th of this year. In honor of my son, Joshua David, who's not here today, who would be 30 years old, 32 years old. And, you know, God is pro-life. And yes, I murdered my baby. I chose the path of death instead of life because I was selfish and because I did not know what abortion really was. I was ignorant. Because when you're pro-life, you only really think about, that's not going to happen to me, and that's a lie. It can happen to anyone. If 1 out of 3 pregnancies end in abortion, there are so many hurting women and men out there. Almost 500,000 in Louisiana is 1 million men and women hurting from abortion. And I suffered for years. I had a lot of anger after my abortion, rage. I was angry at everyone. I drank alcohol to numb the pain. I started experimenting with drugs. I didn't care about myself. I wanted to die and go be with my baby in heaven because the pain was so severe. And that lasted for 20 years. And God started the healing process with me. I had no idea I'd be standing here today. I had no idea back then, when I was 35 years old, what God was doing was preparing me to come back. I was living in Indonesia as I went through my healing. And God's Word, God's grace and His mercy and His love and His forgiveness that He walked me through. He brought me back to New Iberia last year at the Iberia Right to Life in the church where I was born and raised at St. Peter's. And I shared my testimony that after my abortion, I didn't feel worthy to walk into the door of that church because I knew everyone was like you, pro-life. And I felt like I needed to be crucified on the cross. Jesus said, Michelle, I already did that for you. God reminds me there's nothing man can do because Jesus died on the cross for my sin of abortion. Yes, I regret it. I'm not standing up here saying I'm proud and it's an easy thing and you can get your life back. You can get your life back, but you can't get your baby back until you go to heaven. And so as I stand here and I read all your signs and I look at everybody out here, and I thank you all for being here and for letting me share my testimony, I just ask you to please open your hearts and realize that people are hurting. If 1 out of 3 women and men have been through abortion, and grandparents and siblings, there are people around you that have had abortions. They won't tell you because they're scared. And they know that you hold these signs and that you're pro-life. And that's great. That they need to also know, as this lady in the front has a sign, that Jesus forgives and He heals. He does, because we've chosen abortion when we thought it was legal. We thought it was okay. We didn't suffering. And I'm fortunate to have 2 children, but a lot of women I've counseled, they can't have children after. The only child that they could have had, they say they aborted. I had 2 children, they were both preterm, and that was a consequence of my abortion. And now God has brought me back. Right here, where this decision was made to legalize abortion 38 years ago. My abortion in this city in Baton Rouge, to tell you that abortion hurts women, men, and takes the life of our babies. But I also have to share with you that God is bigger than that. And He will heal, He will forgive if you allow Him to. And every single person here can be used by God, not only to say that God is the defender of life and God hates abortion, but that God is merciful and just and He will forgive you if you've already had an abortion. God gave me this name, Tears to Treasures. As the tears flow from the pain of our abortion and the loss of our unborn babies, He, in His Word, turns it to a beautiful treasure. And after we go through a healing process, in our mind, our terrible, horrific experience of abortion and the visions of our babies being in pieces is replaced with our baby being whole in the hands of Jesus Christ. And to know that one day we will go to heaven and we will see our babies. Our angels are praying for us. And every one of us can offer that hope. I have a ministry called Tears to Treasures, which is healing from abortion. And now you have no excuse to not share that with people you know who are hurting from abortion. My testimony was made into a movie. If people can't be here that you know, you can get Holly's story. Let them watch it. Let them see that, yes, abortion hurts people, but also there is hope and forgiveness. And because we are walking around wounded and we need to be healed and whole the way Jesus created us to be, and to take a stand and speak out for our unborn, aborted babies. So I just encourage you to take this message of hope to those around you and just pray and ask God to open your heart and open your mind. Because as I wear something with Tears to Treasures and someone says, what is it? Almost every time, I'm not making this up, almost every time they will share that they have been through an abortion experience. Many of the times these are men. It's not just a women's issue. The father of my baby did not know I was pregnant. I didn't tell him. I didn't have to tell him. He found out after I had my abortion. And he's still hurting. And I'm praying for his healing. And men are affected by abortion too. So I just ask you to please open your minds and your hearts and let God use you as a vessel of hope and healing to this nation. Thank you.